What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Band of Barbers podcast. I'm your host, Devon Evans, and thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Tonight's episode is kind of going to be a lot like yesterday's, and I'm just going to say to you guys, and you had to take this in a different way, but I'm really going to tell you guys to trust your instincts. Trust your instincts, believe in what you do, and do it at the best of your ability. Trust your instincts, believe in what you do, and do it with the best of your ability. Too many people are in the world and they do things not in the trust of what they believe, but what they believe other people will value. I'm saying it again. They do what they believe other people will value. And this is what I mean by that. They're looking to impress someone else. They're not looking to do things that are right, that could satisfy them. They're only worried about what I'm doing is going to make someone else look at me in a different light. I was listening to another podcast earlier today, and it was talking about the misconception or where youth really get it wrong. And it's kind of funny because even though I'm in my mid 30s, like I understand my life totally different than I thought of my life at 19. I understand it totally different than I thought of my life at even 25. It was 29, 30 when I really started to kind of hone in on some things and think less about let me do something to impress someone else instead of let me do something that leaves a legacy behind not only for my family but for the world that I come in contact with. As a barber standing behind the chair, I get to leave a legacy behind, right? All of the great conversations that I've had with people, all of the good things that I've done and continue to do. But it's a shift. There was a shift in mentality for me that I had to think about. And when I stopped thinking about impressing people who really do not care about anything that I'm doing. Some don't care, and some of them care enough to just see and check and see if I'm not going to be successful, right? And so back to this podcast, when they were talking about the youth, one of the things that they were saying is the youth is so obsessed with moving so fast to prove to someone, to an ex, to their friends, to their family, that they're successful. They will even do, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, they will even do something that they don't necessarily like just to win. And so they're obsessed with the win so they can show you that they've done something instead of being in love with the journey and the process. And you have to understand that in order to be a successful barber, it's a journey and a process. It's not an overnight thing. It's not a wake up, oh my God, and it's done. It's nothing like that. It is nothing like that at all, right? You may come into the industry and have very great success early on with one texture of hair. And this is why now more than ever it is more important to learn and have a strong foundation in everything. And I'm going to say this: there are a lot of biracial and multiracial children with different hair textures that are going to come sit in your hair. So if you're only really good with curly, kinky, wavy, right? Someone with a loose curl pattern, or they may have, a heavy curl pattern on top, but then they've got, straight hair on the sides, or like, if you're not ready for that, you're going to struggle, and that's a foundation thing. That's a foundational thing, right? And understanding the foundations. And this is what you have to understand. Building a foundation takes time. If anybody has ever been or seen a house being built from the ground up, when you pay attention to what they do, and let's say that they're building a neighborhood in an area that was once wooded, right? And follow me along here. Now, the contractor, the builder, everybody, they see a finished product, right? They see and understand a finished product. That's what they're looking at. But before they can even start to work on the finished product, right? And when I say finished product, picking fixtures, picking siding colors, all of those types of things. They can do all of that stuff. But you know what they have to do first? Cut down the trees. They have to cut down the trees. And this is before, and this is what I'm talking about with foundational stuff. Before they could ever put the first foundation down, they've got to cut down the trees. They got to clear the land out. They got to level the land out, right? They got to level the land out. And once they level the land out, they've got to do some other things. They level the land out, then they pick the plots of land. Okay, well, we got to put, before we can even really do the foundation, we need to put the plumbing pipes down in the ground and lay those out before. And guess what? There's an inspection on each and every process. Each and every process, there's an inspection. All right. Okay. So we took all the trees out. Okay. Let's make sure we got all the roots out. Let's make sure we got all the roots out. Okay. We got all we got the trees, and we got those out. We got those taken care of. It's building blocks on top of each other. Okay. And it's not, you can't just start with, all right, I'm going to call a guy for concrete so he can come lay this concrete slab. No, you got to make sure the ground is level. Make sure the ground is level enough to hold this concrete slab that we're going to put up. And when you lay the concrete slab, you got to make sure that there is, make sure that it's built in a way, if you're putting a concrete slab down, or even a basement, you got to make sure that it's built in a way that, all right, most all basements, I don't think I've ever really seen one without it, unless it's been like redone. But most basements have some sort of like drainage hole in it. Okay. And so you can't just lay flat concrete and then put a drainage hole in it. That concrete has to be at a certain, there has to be a certain dip in the way that the concrete is built, not enough to make it look strange, or not enough to make it look so, but it needs to be enough that if water was to come in, the water can funnel towards the drain. It's foundation. You've got to understand those things, right? When we're talking about haircuts, one of the things I see early barbers do, and I did this. I didn't understand this. Like I said, and I've told you before, like I came through a cosmetology school part of the way. I was there for about 3 months. And then after the third month, I was gone. I never made it to the floor in cosmetology school. I never made it out to the practical application of it. Everything I did was on mannequins, or it might have been on other students within the class. That was it, right? That was all that I did there. And then I moved. I moved. I came back here, and so I came back to Virginia, and I decided I was going to do this. And when I went in, I had some foundation and some stuff that I had learned in cosmetology school, but it wasn't all of the foundation. I had a half a foundation. If I were say if it was a house, they had dug out the crawl space. Might have been they had dug out the place for the basement. That might have been the best way to describe it. They didn't put no concrete down. I didn't have any concrete down. I didn't have any center blocks for the walls for it. I didn't have any of that. There was just a hole. There was a hole dug out that's like, okay, that's where the basement's gonna go, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. So I had to pick up, like, a lot of barbers early on make this mistake of jumping into haircuts. They don't comb their hair, they don't prep their hair, they don't look for cowlicks, they don't check the swirl pattern they don't do any of that stuff. They just jump right in. Oh, this is what you said you wanted? All right, cool. I watched this in nowadays in today's age. Oh, cool. I watched this video, so let me just jump right to it. Not knowing, okay, where does the hair naturally fall? Oh, the hair naturally falls here. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it like this. Where does or how does, like, they don't look at that type of stuff, and you've got to prep the surface, right? You gotta cut down the trees, check the roots, right? Cut down the trees is combing the hair. The hair hasn't been combed, you need to comb it. Cut down the trees. You checking the roots. You looking at the scalp. You're doing your scalp analysis. You're doing your growth pattern analysis. You're looking at the natural fall of the hair. You're checking the hair for density. You're doing all of these things in a checklist. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. Now, it may take you 3 minutes to do it, 5 minutes to do it, depending on how long the hair may be. It may take you a moment to do it, but it's important that you do it. Don't skip over that stuff. Don't skip over that foundational stuff. Don't skip what needs to be there. Okay, and what needs to be there is that sort of stuff. Like, stop building a house on a weak foundation. Right? Stop building a house on a weak foundation. And please don't be the one to, and I'm gonna say this too. We talked about this before from the beginning. Don't be the person trying to impress other people with what you got going on. Like I said before, impress yourself. Make yourself proud. Right? Because at the end, you are the one that has to sit with you in a dark room. It's not the other way around. You are the one that has to sit with you in a dark room. Please keep that in mind. And you may say, oh, well, what? No, man. No. You trying to impress a bunch of people. You want to make a bunch of money and then go out and blow it in the club. That doesn't make any sense. Or or let me make sure I show them that, yeah, don't regret what I don't regret what I'm doing. Okay, if you don't regret what you're doing, go, like if you were working a job before, don't go back. Ensure that you're gonna be successful in what you like. What are we talking about right now? Ensure that you're gonna be successful by showing up. Ensure that you're gonna be like the intangible things that have to be done in order to be successful are not things that impress people. At least not in my opinion. It may be somebody else may disagree with me, but I'm telling you that the intangible things that you feel are going to impress people really aren't all that great, right? And if you and I want you to keep this in mind. If you do become successful, most of those people that you're trying to impress are probably going to be jealous of you. So save yourself the hassle of trying to impress people. You want to impress, like I said, if you want to impress anybody, impress yourself. Impress yourself by being consistent. Impress yourself by being present. Impress yourself by showing up. Impress yourself by all of those things. Don't be out here just, don't do it. Just relax. Relax. Enjoy the process, the journey that you're going to go on as far as building up this business. And I may be wrong when I say this, but I'm pretty sure most people that are listening to this podcast, you under the ears of if you can hear my voice right now, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Coca-Cola, correct? Everybody's heard of Coca-Cola. Uh, Coca-Cola Coca-Cola sold, I believe it was in their first year of business, Coca-Cola sold 12 bottles of Coca-Cola. I, I'm almost positive. Let me see. 1 second, guys. Sorry, it was not 12. Coca-Cola sold 25 bottles in their first year of business. 25. They sell 1.9 billion bottles a day now. Back then, they sold 25 bottles in a year. It's not even a bottle a day. Like, but they figured it out. Stop trying to rush for a goal that may not. Stop trying to rush for this goal, right? Pace yourself. Yes, you want to move faster, but your foundation allows you to move faster. Moving faster with no understanding of what's going on or how it moves or how it works or all of those, moving faster just to move faster is not going to be of any aid to you. It's just not. Moving faster just to move faster is not going to be of any aid to you, especially if you don't know what you're doing. If you're moving faster and you don't know what you're doing, you're actually just going to make a bunch of mistakes that could cost you your business. So if we're going to move faster, we need to move faster and correctly. And fortunately, with the information age in which we are now, the accessibility to information, fortunately, you have access to pretty much everything that you need, right? You have access to a lot of the information that you need. So I say that to say, okay, if I've got access to it, I need to use it. I need to use it. Also, if you need to, go travel, take classes, do all of those sorts of things. Don't sit here and mm-mm, mm-mm. Don't do it. Do not do it. Guys, it is way, way, way too important for you to be foundationally sound. Sound. Now, I'm going to say this, sound is not perfection, but sound is consistent. All right? Be consistent. Be consistent in what you are doing. And as you take the time to be consistent in what you're doing, you will grow and you will build so much. Right? I heard today someone that we were in a conversation that I was having. Someone was saying that it's strange for entrepreneurs to believe, like being an entrepreneur and growing a business is a lot like building muscles in a gym. It takes time, it takes effort, right? It's just like being a barber. Like, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, it takes continuous daily efforts to grow and build muscle, just like it does to become a good barber, right? And just being a good technically sound barber, and no, there's no other nice way to say it. Being a technically sound barber and a terrible person doesn't help your case at all. When I say terrible person, I mean rude, nasty, disrespectful. Who wants to sit in your chair? So you have to develop all of those things all the way around, right? Remember, like I said, for the independent barber, or for a barber just in general, I don't really think it has to do with independent versus a barber. It doesn't really matter, right? But I like to talk to the independent barber. For the independent barber, for the booth runner barber, hey, that's great. It's wonderful. I applaud you for jumping out there and doing that. And you say, oh, yeah, I work for myself. No, again, the independent barber fired one boss or maybe two bosses or managers to then hire as many clients as he possibly could to be his boss. Because we do, as barbers standing behind a chair, we don't make money if the chair's not spinning. Therefore, there's an agreement between you and the client that if I provide this service, you're going to pay me X amount of dollars. But the client also says, if you provide this service, I expect this result. And if you can give me that result, then I agree to paying you X, Y, and Z. So if that's the case, then that doesn't sound like your client is it sounds like your client has a little more control than you do. Yes, you're going to do it. You're going to do and provide a technical skill that the client can't provide for themselves or chooses not to provide for themselves. Yes, you are. But what you're not going to provide, or what you're not going um, to do, isn't make that client or that customer really like something that they don't like. Remember, we are personal image consultants. We are responsible for making people look better, improve their looks, and things like that. And so, if I'm paying you for that, I expect to get a result, and I expect the result to be something of worth. That's why this agreement is in place. That's why you say, hey, I charge $25 for a haircut. Okay. Client sits in the chair, says, all right, I need you to cut my hair, and I want a $25 haircut. You know. But hey, guys, I don't know. I'm just saying, don't give up on yourself. Fall in love with the journey. Stop trying to impress people who don't really care anything about you. Do what is best in the interest of your family and yourself. And preferably yourself and then your family. Because if you do everything for the family and nothing for yourself, then you have nothing to bring to the table for your family besides the fruits of your labor. Which, if that's the way that you function, right, it can set up for an easy burnout. You can easily burn yourself out doing that sort of thing. Taking care of other people and not taking care of you. Right? Don't put your health on the back burner. Don't put your physical fitness on the back burner. Don't put those things on the back burner. Take care of you, which allows you to do the best that you can for your family. Right? That's a process that you may not agree with, but as you get older, if you're younger, or as you start to develop and mature and grow, you will see what I'm saying. You will see what I'm saying. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. My name is Devon Evans. Please like, comment, share, subscribe so we can grow the tribe. It's been real fun. But I'm going to get off here, guys. You guys have a good night.